Welcome to the Georgia Dome for today's interdivision matchup between the surprisingly underachieving Atlanta Falcons and the improving Green Bay Packers. And good afternoon, everyone. I'm James Brown. Well, at this early point in the season, today is a must-win situation for the Falcons, who at 1-3 are in last place in the NFC West, and they must do it today against a Green Bay team that has won 2 consecutive games, and its confidence is building. My partner is ex-Rams coach John Robinson. And John, how critical is it for Atlanta?
Oh, it's very critical. This is a worried football team. They're worried about their defense, which has not played to the expectations that they set. They're not getting the turnover. They're not getting the big pass interception, or particularly the big sack. So they've got a few problems defensively. Michael Haynes comes back and starts at the wide receiver on the right. Andre Rison moves to the left. So the red gun is at full force today.
You know, it's also critical when Andre Rison guarantees a victory today. That Atlanta defense facing a young quarterback in Brett Favre that they know pretty well, a second-year guy who's looked awfully impressive the last 2 weeks. What can he expect today?
Well, I think he expects a lot of troubles. He's going to play in a dome where the noise is just deafening, and he's going to have to be able to operate that offense through that noise. He's also going to handle a blitzing defense that can really put pressure on a quarterback. Mike Holmgren wants very much to get him off to a good start, which means Green Bay has to run the football and give Brett Favre a chance to throw the ball on some easy throws.
We're underway on doubleheader Sunday here on CBS. Green Bay won the coin toss, elected to receive. Touchback, and it'll be 1st and 10 from its own 20. Brett Favre, the young man we were just talking so much about, will get his 2nd NFL start. Second-year player out of Southern Mississippi, and a big offensive line in front of him.
Well, it's a veteran group, and it's got some age, and they're playing pretty well so far.
Running game has improved the past 2 games.
Vince Workman is off to a great start, and if he can get off to a fast start in this ball game, that will be very important for Green Bay.
1st and 10 for the Packers. Ball at their own 20. Favre comes out passing, rifles a shot well over the head of Sterling Sharp. And a little unusual because we thought that Favre would be handing off in the early going. The Atlanta defense that Favre will be facing. Jesse Tuggle, very active middle linebacker, starting to get an awful lot of recognition. And the line he will be playing in back of.
Mike Gann and Mo Gardner are very good, very quick football players.
And again, a light but quick linebacking core. Jesse Solomon has come in and really brought some stability there. He's been very aggressive on tackling and the secondary.
Well, it's the safeties that they're concerned about. They're both new, and they both need to have good games today.
2nd and 10. Split back formation. Sterling Sharp in motion. And the handoff to Vince Workman. And Workman, not much daylight ahead for only one. Tacklers led by Mike Gann. We'll bring up about a 3rd and 9 as we take a look at Mike Holmgren, first-year head coach out of that San Francisco 49er system.
Well, Mike
has high expectations.
Mike Holmgren is the offensive coordinator, calls the plays. You can see his play sheet there. He's got about 100 different things to choose from. Each time you start a game and you don't make many yards on the first 2 downs, you can feel that in your stomach.
You mentioned 100 different plays. He's cut them down considerably for this young man here, Brett Favre, to make him more comfortable. 4 wide receivers in for the Packers. Favre back to pass. Runs into a blitzing Atlanta squad. Gets rid of it, and it's complete for the 1st down. So Brett Favre somehow escaped trouble and found Sanjay Beach for the 1st down, of 15-yard pass play. Not the way it was designed, but effective.
Well, this was a little bit of sandlot football for Brett. He got back. Now, you're going to see him run out of here when he really doesn't have to. See, that pocket's pretty good for him, and he starts to run to the right, looking for somebody. Now he's in an awful lot of trouble. But this is the athletic guy, and sometimes these kind of guys come up with plays. That was a big play, and I'm sure that's going to help him a great deal as we go on.
1st down, ball at the 36 of Green Bay. Just underway here in the 1st quarter. No score. Opening drive. Favre, the handoff to Workman, and Workman grabbed and dropped Darian Connor, the first guy to hit him. Workman did pick up 3. Darian Connor, third-year linebacker out of Jackson State.
Well, that time he started in to the right and tried to find a back lane to the left, but Darian Connor was unblocked and just was too much for him.
John, you mentioned again that Mike Holmgren was going to try to settle down Brett Favre by keeping the ball on the ground. Were you surprised to see him go to the air on the first play?
Well, I think sometimes, you know, you try to do the thing people don't expect you to do, and I'm sure was hoping he'd get his first catch in on that first play.
2nd and 7. Ball at the 39. Workman in motion. Favre, quick out, overthrows the intended target, Vince Workman. Now, we've heard so much about the cannon arm that Brett Favre has. Allegedly, they're trying to work with him to get some touch.
Well, you saw the cannon that time, and it was a bit of a loose cannon there. They were ducking over on the Green Bay bench, dodging that ball, and that's just the excitement. You know, when you're excited and not in rhythm, the ball tends to go high, and you saw those first 2 outs to the right. The ball was thrown high and decapitated somebody over on the Green Bay bench.
So the folks on the sidelines better be paying attention.
It's like those foul balls when you're in the dugout, boy. You got to duck.
3rd and 7 for the Pack. 3 wide receivers. Sharp in motion. Favre with time. Drills it. Incomplete. Intended receiver. And it was intercepted as Tuggle comes up with it before he hits the ground. That is only the 2nd interception for the Falcons this season.
Here's a look at it from the end zone. He has good protection. The ball is thrown accurately, but boy, it sure looks like it's thrown hard. Look at the speed on that ball. The ball is just too hard for the receiver to handle, and Tuggle, who's hustling to the play, makes a great dive. Comes back, gets up, and we'll be right back.
Atlanta has come up with the ball by way of that interception by Jesse Tuggle, and I tell you, turnovers have been few and far between for the Falcons.
Yeah, and that has to really help them to get one right off the bat, and particularly if their offense can go in and get some points, I think the defense is going to really feel great about it. It was a great interception by Tuggle.
And as I mentioned, only the 2nd interception by the Falcons this season. 1st and 10 for Atlanta, ball near midfield. Miller back to pass. Looking downtown for Michael Haynes. Incomplete. Michael Haynes shadowed nicely by Terrell Buckley, #1 draft pick for the Packers out of Florida State.
It didn't take them long to find Buckley. That was their plan, to come off right off the bat. Haynes, the great sprinter. Buckley's already turned and running, and he's in great shape there, and then almost makes the interception. I'm sure he's got to say, hey, don't try me anymore.
But he knows he will be tried all afternoon.
Yes, he does. But that was a good start for him. It just, again, to give him a feeling.
2nd and 10, 4 wideouts. Buckley matched up with Michael Haynes again at the bottom of the screen. On the ground this time. Jones with a big hole. First down. Down inside the 25. Vinnie Clark finally tackled Keith Jones and run him out of bounds. A 26-yard gain.
We're going to get a look at the ball carrier start to the right and then cut all the way back. The defensive line is going to close down too far. That gives him the big cutback lane. There, now you see him start backside. Left tackle Mike Ken keeps his block, and now Jones has a chance to start up the field and make a big play.
Back to live action as Jones takes it down to about the 21, a gain of 3 on the play. Keith Jones looking good thus far. 11:31 left in the first quarter play. Chris Miller, the trigger man for the Red Gun offense, the run and shoot of the Atlanta Falcons. As you take a look at that offensive line.
It's a veteran group, 2 Pro Bowlers that tackle, Mike Ken and Chris Hinton.
And of course, with the run and shoot, 1 running back, 4 wide receivers.
Wow, those guys are scary.
Deep and fast. 2nd and 7, Atlanta in Green Bay territory. Ball at the 21. Miller with time drills it complete to Rison, who reverses field. And Andre Rison run out of bounds at about the 8. Leroy Butler pushed him out of bounds, but it's a first down for the Falcons. A 13-yard pass play from Miller to Rison.
Well, we get a look at the quickness of Atlanta here. Miller just looks to his right, then comes back to Rison, who's running an underneath batter. You see Vinnie Clark is a ways away from him, and now he changed directions, and he's got Vinnie Clark beaten all the way. The initial quickness and speed is something. Rison hasn't got great speed, but boy, is he quick.
And Rison was the young man who guaranteed a Falcons victory today. First and goal. Ball at the 8. 10:32 left in the first quarter of play. No score. On the ground again, Jones. And Jones pushing his way inside the 5 to about the 3. Keith Jones, fourth-year running back out of Illinois, 210 pounds, but running hard.
And he got outside that time, and he made about 3 extra yards at the end of the run. You really judge runners on what they do at the end of the run. When somebody makes contact with him, he got about 3 more yards.
3 carries for 34 yards, and Jerry Glanville certainly likes what he's seeing with the running game so far.
Yeah, and Jerry Glanville calls all the offensive plays as well as the defensive play.
Second and goal. Ball at the 3. Jones again spinning his way, but runs smack into Johnny Holland. Johnny Holland very active, and Johnny Holland certainly is a guy that Mike Holmgren has been very, very pleased with, the defensive front, that is.
Well, they got their backs against the wall right off the bat, and I don't think they wanted that to happen, but now they got to make a play, third down, to force a field goal.
6 DBs we'll see continually in the game, John.
And we're going to see speed against speed, and hopefully the Green Bay secondary can keep up with Atlanta, but boy, that's a tall order.
Third and goal from the 2. To the air, Miller. Quick pass. Touchdown. Atlanta, Mike Pritchard. Second touchdown of the season for Pritchard.
Well, this was just great execution. He throws it on 2 or 3 steps. Roland Mitchell has got him covered. He's doing everything he can. The ball's on the money. The pass is completed. Pritchard has a touchdown. I don't think you can ask Roland Mitchell to do any better job. That's great offensive execution.
And that also is what Atlanta wanted to see more of. Scoring points off of turnovers. Low snap, but Norm Johnson bangs it through anyway. So the Falcons, off of the turnover, the interception by Tuggle, takes the early lead by a touchdown. Back inside of a packed Georgia Dome, the Falcons on top 7-0. 7 plays covering 50 yards, just over 3 minutes. The key play, of course, the interception by Jesse Tuggle. Johnson puts a foot in it. And this will be Brooks from his own 2. And Brooks with a little bit of a seam, but gets back only to the 11. So not the greatest field position for the Packers. Green Bay will take over first and 10. And make that the 16. Tampa Bay early lead over Indianapolis. I tell you, John, I've seen Tampa Bay twice, and this is a nice squad. Defensively, they are really playing some aggressive football.
Sam White's really has had an impact with that offense. It's a great offense to be a part of, and I'm sure Vinny Testaverde can tell you that.
First and 10 for Green Bay. Ball at its own 16. 9:03 left in the first quarter of play. Falcons on top by a touchdown. The pro set. Workman in motion on the ground, and this is Buford McGee, and McGee is met by the black wave led by Jesse Tuggle. John, you have spoken a lot about this guy. You like the way he plays, kind of in the shadows, if you will, of Mike Singletary.
And you know, he looks just like Mike Singletary right here. The ball is going to come up. We have Jesse Tuggle scraping in the hole there. I wanted to make him the weak side linebacker, but he's going to be the strong side linebacker. You see how quickly he fills and gets right in there on the tackle. His ability to attack is what makes him the player he is.
And we also must give a nice assist to Darian Connor. Second and 7. Ball at the 19. Favre back to pass with pressure on him, and he's running it. Brett Favre sliding his way, no late hit. Brett Favre, and oh my goodness, they're going to bring it back. A flag is down on the play, back in the backfield.
Well, that's what happens so much when pass rushers get up the field. Offensive linemen, as they're losing him.
57 offense, 10 yards. Half the distance penalty. Repeat second down.
Gordon McCarter is our referee. The guilty party that time, Rich Moran.
When the defensive lineman comes off the mark fast, boy, that's tough on the offensive pass blocker. He senses the man going by him, and that's usually when it happens. He reaches out and grabs him. And that turned off back a first down and puts him in really bad position now. 2nd and 18, that's a tough job for a young quarterback to come off.
So it'll be 2nd and 17. Ball back at the 9 of Green Bay. Workman and McGee, the backs. On the ground, no play action, far. Going up top. And overthrows by a good distance the intended receiver, Sterling Sharp, who had 2 defenders there, Tim McKyer and Jeff Donaldson.
Darian Connor beat Kenny Rutgers right now and was on Favre, but he did a nice job of stepping up and staying alive. Some people have an instinct for that, and you saw that there. He kept alive, threw the football down to Macon, Georgia, almost, but
say Macon, Georgia.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you know, he does have a good arm, and this kid knows how to compete, and we just saw a little bit of it. That could have been a sack down on the 1-yard line.
Favre trying to improve on his numbers. 1 of 5, 1 interception thus far. A 3rd and 17 for the Packers.
You just look at him and you can see the look on his face. You know this kid loves to play.
Big 3rd down situation for Favre. Drills it. Was it caught? It was in fact completed to Jackie Harris, but it's going to be shy about 4 yards of what was needed for the 1st down. So Paul McJulian will come on to punt it away. And Deion Sanders, the dangerous one.
This is a dangerous play when you have to punt against Atlanta. They're great at blocking, which they're not going to do now. They're going to return to the best return man in football.
Crowd excited just to know that Deion Sanders is back pacing. Short. Sanders. And swarmed a gain of maybe 3 yards. But I tell you, A just for effort. Inside the dry Georgia Dome, wet on the outside. Fans have had something to cheer about. Atlanta leads at 7-0, and Atlanta starting with excellent field position at its own 44.
Yeah, that's exactly the way Atlanta would like to see it. I'm sure Ray Rhodes from Green Bay is nervous about here they come again on 2 short fields. Ray Rhodes, the defensive coordinator for Green Bay, was very concerned about the overall team speed of this Atlanta team.
His defense has a challenge right now. 1st and 10. Falcons at the 44. The draw to Jones. Jones trying to find a hole and slips his way ahead for just a yard. So good reaction on the part of Ray Rhodes' defense that time.
Well, there wasn't much pass rush. They looked like they were kind of waiting for the draw. You like to run draws. A team like this likes to run draws and have some runs work early to take some of that pass rush off. But they weren't rushing the passer very much that time, and they got the back turned sideways. Johnny Holland came right up and made the play.
Inactives for the game today, Don Mikowski and Danny Noonan for Green Bay, Scott Case and Wade Wilson, quarterback for Atlanta. 2nd and 9. Complete, incomplete. Pritchard had it for a second, should have caught it, dropped it.
Well, that was a very deep dropping zone. The 3 wide receivers had taken everybody up the field, and Pritchard was working across the field underneath, and he was going to get another 8 or 10 passes. But the ball wasn't thrown quite right, and it tipped off his fingers. When you throw the ball short, it's some of the most difficult passes for a quarterback to throw because there's so little margin of error. That ball's got to be there, and the runner, the catcher, is usually running at full speed. So they're hard passes, and we saw one go awry there.
And you would think it's an easy pass.
And it isn't.
3rd and 9. The red gun from the shotgun. Miller Complete as Rison makes a great effort to come back and get the ball. What a super adjustment, and that looks to be more than enough for the first down. John, what a super adjustment by Andre Rison. 11-yard pass play from Miller to Rison, who had to come back and actually take the ball away from the defender.
He looked like the defensive back that time. It was amazing. Here's Rison sitting up on the outside. We're going to see the defensive back at zone defense, and he almost gets an interception here. As we watch Butler sitting down, or Roland Mitchell sitting down inside, and almost has the interception. Rison comes back. Now watch him change direction. We don't have time for that. They're coming again.
Absolutely, coming back quickly. First and 10, ball at the 44 of Green Bay. Miller back to pass, has a wide open Pritchard. Miller has to run it and run out of bounds at about the 38. A gain of 6 on the play, and there is a flag over near the sidelines.
I think that was a bad call. I think two guys just kind of stumbled into each other. Two guys away from the play kind of ran into each other and fell down. It's one of those things where the officials saw the last part of it. That's it. The officials are being very, enforcement conscious about these plays out of bounds. They blew one there. That was not a personal foul.
Unnecessary roughness after the play, number 78 defense. 15 yards.
James, it's nice to be able to second guess the officials now.
You know what? He says 78 on the defense. There is no 78 on the defense.
We're going to see the end of this play happen here. Miller has so much time. He just really takes off and runs. And now we see everybody sliding up there. And now we see 20. Hell, we don't see
who touched him?
It's somebody knocks him out. It's way back here. Okay. It's way back here, and it was just an accident.
All right. Net effect, first and 10. Ball at 23 of the Packers. 4:38 left in the first. And still on his feet is Tony Smith. And all of that, a net gain of 1.
Great job by the safety man coming up and making that play. That ball got outside the defensive end, and it was outside and running, much like the first play that they ran. But the safety that time came up and made the tackle. Chris
Miller looking over toward Jerry Glanville. You just saw the shot of Jerry Glanville, who basically does it all for Atlanta.
He signals offense, defense, special teams, cleans the locker room. He's a busy guy on Sunday.
Likes that role, though.
Oh, he loves that role.
Second and 9. Keith Millard, number 77, in for Green Bay. Miller with time. Drills it complete. Haynes. Michael Haynes takes it down to the 10. 12 yards picked up on a play. First down for Atlanta.
Here we're going to look at Miller throwing against his own defense. Look how the receiver comes back to the football. Back underneath the two defenders, comes back, catches the football, and then stays alive. These Atlanta receivers are athletes. Here's a look at Keith Millard in his first pass rush for the Green Bay Packers. He is a very quick man at getting up the field. Houston Hoover does a good job, but Millard does get penetration, and that's what he's trying to do all the time.
On first down, and nowhere to run that time for Keith Jones. Matter of fact, looked like he may have lost yardage. We'll see where they spot it.
Millard did a great job that time. He beat Houston Hoover. This match is tied now. Here we see the ball. It's a run to Millard's left. He's reading now and just uses his strength and breaks through Hoover, who I think thought the ball was going outside. Millard steps inside, makes the play.
Brings up a second and goal as we take a look at Keith Millard. And Green Bay is so hopeful he can be 3/4 of what he once was.
Oh, yeah, and if he is 3/4, he's still good. The way he once was the best.
No question. Second and goal from the 10. Little fade pattern to Rison. Touchdown, Atlanta. And John, they're working on Vinnie Clark as they told us they would. They found a weakness and they're exploiting it.
Well, this is what they call the fade stop. I think Vinnie Clark thought it was going to be a fade, and he throws the ball in behind him. Vinnie Clark really doesn't have a chance. He's going to Rison the whole way. You see him just looking at it. Now, instead of the lob that you usually see, it's a line drive underneath Vinnie Clark. Rison makes another great play. Boy, this guy's having a big couple of weeks.
The point after is good. And the Falcons scoring quick and often. Andre Rison, but the man he has to thank for that nice pass, Chris Miller. And Chris has plenty to smile about. Falcons on top by the score of 14-0.
This is an important time for Mike Holmgren now. The head coach has to stay calm and pretend like things are going okay, and everybody knows they're not. But there's that little fear seeps in. Mike Holmgren has to be the guy that looks calm, acts calm, and gets a little bit of a drive going here.
Johnson with the kickoff from the 1, Robert Brooks. And Brooks turns on the speed. Fumble recovered by the Packers, and there is a flag back at about the 13-yard line.
We've got a penalty on the back.
Harry
This is going to put them back.
Got that one back.
Yeah, excuse me, James. This is going to put them back deep in the hole again, down inside their 10. And when things go bad, they seem to have a way of escalating. And this is one of those things.
Receiving team during the return. Half the distance, first down.
So Mike Holmgren will see the Packers start from about their own 6. That Atlanta scoring drive, 7 plays, make that 8 plays, covering 56 yards, 4:36 off of the clock. Andre Rison, boy, is he having another big day. Had 3 touchdowns last week against the Bears. 1st and 10 from the 7. Workman. And Workman across the 10. A gain of about 5 on a play. Will bring up a 2nd and 5. 1:50 left in the first quarter play. Atlanta on top, 14-0.
Well, that was the start for them. 2nd and 5 is a good place to be. 5 yards on first down. They knocked the Atlanta defensive line off the ball that time. Gave Workman some room to run. And that's the kind of thing they did. Now if they can put together 2 or 3 first downs, then all of a sudden the rhythm starts coming back. Some of that fear starts to subside.
Well, the Packers will need some rhythm now. 2nd and 5. On the ground, Workman has the first down. We'll see where they spot it. It looks to be close.
Again, they knocked Atlanta off the football, and he had a big lane there. He got out in the open and started triple faking. I don't know who that was he was faking, but he needed to push that up the field before he began making moves. He slipped and fallen.
And indeed it is a first down for Green Bay. 58 seconds left in the first quarter of play. Green Bay with the first down and ball marked at its own 21.
You just don't know how important that first down was for Green Bay. That's just so important to get some confidence back.
On the ground again, Workman. And the black wave is acting more like the black wave as opposed to previous weeks. Jesse Solomon aggressively on the defense.
Well, that time they came what they call their bear defense, or I'm sure they call it the hawk or something. It's an 8-man front, and that's the defense the Chicago Bears made so famous. And that time they shut down the run. You can knock Atlanta off the ball in their normal defense, and if you do, they immediately switch to their pressure sensor.
And Mike Holmgren looks as if he's going to allow the clock to run out. We're down to 5 seconds. And that's the end of the first quarter with the score. The Falcons 14, Green Bay nothing. We'll be back here at the Georgia Dome for the start of the second quarter after this. And John, these standings re-emphasize why we said it's a must-win situation for the Falcons today.
And they have responded. You know, Jerry Glanville has said that this is not, his teams are not good September teams, but they needed a wake-up call today. And looking at those standings is a wake-up call, and they're responding very well early in this game.
Maybe putting you on the spot here, but Jerry said that he normally starts slow. He wants his team to do better come November, December. Why would you tell your team that, though?
Well, that's something to try to build them, make them think they're going to get better, I guess.
2nd and 8. First down. An excellent run by Vince Workman. Now, Workman really has been turning on the burners. If he continues at the pace he started out, he's headed for a 1,000-yard season.
Well, and this is an outstanding run here. We're going to see Workman work his way back to this side. They're going to pull the guard and the tackle. Atlanta is really over pursuing here, and there's just a huge hole. Workman turns up the field. Boy, runners got to love those kinds of holes, and the Atlanta over pursuing really set that up well for them.
Last week, he rushed 26 times for 85 yards. And that last run, a 22-yard effort. Favre decides to run it and gives himself up at about the 47. A 3-yard run by Brett Favre.
A good play by Favre. You know, he turned what could have been there was nobody open. What he had in mind just wasn't going to work downfield. Sometimes quarterbacks, young quarterbacks particularly, try to make something good happen. He just took off and ran, got 3 yards, 2nd and 7. That's not bad. The big thing, he didn't have a disaster happen to him.
Sterling Sharp to the near side. Sanjay Beach to the far side. Vince Workman the lone back. 2nd and 7. Workman running hard, 1st down. Vince Workman galloping strong, finally tackled by Jeff Donaldson. Shades of Roger Craig, the way he was stepping high that time.
All right, he did a really nice job here. Again, you see the same kind of play. It's a counter-type action. He starts here, but finds a hole upside. Watch now how Atlanta really over-pursues this and begins to see the hole emerge right there. Boom, he's just up the field. I like this Vince Workman. He's a guy that finds a hole and gets through it. And they're doing a nice job putting together a drive that is so important for him at this point in the game.
7 carries for 50 yards for Vince Workman. Workman again. And Workman pushing ahead to about the 40-yard line. We'll see where they spot it. Looks to be a 3-yard gain. The left side of that line for Green Bay did a nice job.
Exactly, James. The Green Bay offensive line is doing a fine job. They're coming alive. When you're an offensive lineman and you see your runner pop like that, boy, there's some excitement. Offensive linemen love running backs and love running backs that run hard. They've got one. They're responding. They're knocking Atlanta off the football. We're going to see Atlanta change the defense and try to come to stop that now. Might be a good time for the big pass.
2nd and 7. Workman in motion. To Sidney, complete to Harry Sidney, and Sidney pushes ahead to about the 35-yard line. A 5-yard gain by Sidney. Harry Sidney, 6th-year running back out of Kansas, as we take a look at the NFC Central. And, John, this division here not nearly as strong as in years past. Minnesota, Tampa Bay could conceivably do it.
That thing looks like it's upside down, doesn't it?
From years past.
Yeah, but it's great to see Minnesota and Tampa off so good. 2 new coaches, both doing great jobs.
Mike Holmgren, a Bill Walsh disciple. Record of 2-2 here in Green Bay. 3rd and 2 at the 35 of Atlanta. 6 DBs in for the Falcons. Favre gets it off complete to Sterling Sharp, and Sharp has the 1st down. 60th consecutive game with at least 1 pass reception for Sterling Sharp, who set the record last week.
Watch how now they will run 2 receivers. Workman up the field. Sharp is going to delay, start inside, come right back. Looks like about a pass for 2 feet that he turns up into a 6 or 7 yard gain. That's so typical of the San Francisco philosophy of offense that Mike Holmgren uses. The short pass on 3rd down to get the 1st down. And notice how he kind of feathered that ball. That was an easy catch for Sterling that time.
1st and 10. Workman inside the 25, a gain of 2.
Atlanta got up there in their 8-man front that time. They're concerned, obviously, about getting knocked off the football, but they still got about 2.5, 3 yards there. And things are starting to move the way Mike Holmgren thought they would. He did not think this first quarter would be the way it is, but so far the second quarter is going the way he would like it.
Ball at the 25. And Edgar Bennett goes nowhere. A flag on the play. Edgar Bennett, the rookie out of Florida State.
There's another holding penalty on him. The worst thing about this play now is it puts him back outside of field goal range. You can see Jerry Granville, he knows that. He's saying put him back. Ball on the 25 means 3 points.
Holding.
Ball in the 35 doesn't.
Number 75 offense, 10 yards, repeat second down.
And that's the veteran Ken Rutgers, 8th-year player out of USC.
We're going to get a look at Ken Rutgers here now. I think he's going to block down on Green, and that's where the holding penalty is going to come from. See Ken start down now. He's got Green. Now you see that hand on the back, and the takedown is what's called. Again, Green turns sideways, you know, and that's not a big hold, but it still counts for 10 yards.
And at 2nd and 18, Brett Favre decides to call a timeout. In the second quarter, Falcons lead the Packers 14-0. And John, I guess we have to talk about the momentum started for the Falcons, and that came as a result of the turnover. You said at the top, most important.
And boy, did it ever go for the Falcons. That happened. They got two turnovers. They got two great short field drives for touchdowns. But Green Bay's come back here in the second quarter. This is the kind of drive that Green Bay wanted to have happen, where they took the ball on long, slow drives, kept those fast guys off the field for Atlanta. But now they're in a crucial position. They're 3rd down and long.
Very important also, John, how Brett Favre responds to the situation, and again on the road.
This is a huge play for him. If he can come up, just get him in field goal range, this will be a big thing for him. 2nd down and 18.
Favre's got pressure on him. Mo Gardner with the sack. 2nd sack of the season for Mo Gardner. Only the 7th sack total for Atlanta. A loss of 5 on the play.
There was just no place for him to go with that football. Gardner's sitting right in here now, and he's going to eventually get the sack, but there's not a great pass rush. There's just nobody open. You can see Gardner working on his man. That's a good job by the offensive man. That ball's got to be out of there. But Brett Favre doesn't have any place to go with it, and he's stuck, and he takes the loss.
And guess what? Brings up a 3rd and 23 for the Packers. Ball at the 40 of Atlanta. Favre dumps it off to Workman. And Workman slips down, making it easy for Terry Ray and Bruce Pickens to just touch it.
Well, this is just too far to kick the football. The one thing that Green Bay has to do is punt the football down where Atlanta has a long field for a drive. If you try to field goal from here and miss, Atlanta's got another one of those short fields, and they do not want that to happen.
And that's why we see Paul McJulian on. Longest field goal of the season for Chris Jackie is a 47-yarder. McJulian, excellent hang time. But it takes an Atlanta bounce, touchback, and it'll be 1st and 10 from the 20. We'll be back to the Dome after this. Atlanta up by 2 touchdowns, but John, that last Green Bay drive, 12 plays, 9:19 off the clock, 54 yards, but they come away empty-handed.
Yeah, that's the frustration of a drive like that, but the good thing is they were able to control the ball, get a sense of what they can do on offense. The next time they come back out, they'll be more confident.
1st and 10 from the 20 for the Falcons. Out of the red gun, on the ground, Smith. And Tony Smith, excellent running, good second effort by Smith as he is slow getting up off the ground. He grabbed that left hip of his. Now, we talked about the Atlanta running game being, I guess, running game by committee, running back by committee there. They'd like to see this guy do well.
Yes, Tony Smith is a fellow that I think they're counting on to be the back of the future. Chuck Cecil is down and injured.
And he is up walking under his own power. We'll take the break and come back in a bit. Chuck Cecil, the guy we're taking a look at, Matt Brock, his teammate, was also down, did get up under his own power as they checked his leg, but they were looking at the eyes of Chuck Cecil.
Well, that's when they ask those stupid questions of where are you, how many fingers. The guy said, I know how many fingers, I just got a headache.
2nd and 2. From the 28, Falcons. Miller back to pass. And Miller. Boy, what an excellent throw. Mike Pritchard, the intended receiver. Did Miller place that one right on the number?
One of the most dangerous things about this offense is when everybody just takes off up the field like that, and when a quarterback gets time, he can deliver the ball. This is a real streak quarterback, Chris Miller, and when he's hot like he is now, he delivers the ball as well as anybody. But that was excellent coverage. Everybody was covered. He put it up, took a chance, didn't get it.
We'll make it 3rd and 2. Ball still at the 28 of Atlanta. 7:18 left and a half to play. Falcons on top 14-0. Rising in motion. Quick pass to Pritchard, and Pritchard now forward progress should be enough for the first down, and indeed it is. Green Bay, specifically Tim Houck, yelling no, but it is in fact a first down. 3rd first down.
That's the same play they ran for the touchdown. Just a short yardage, get the ball to your inside receiver out in the flat. It's almost impossible to defend if the quarterback throws the ball accurately. Chris Miller has been accurate in this game, and that's been a big part of what's happening. And he's got that look in his eye. You know, you can just tell when those quarterbacks are feeling good, boy. They're animated, they're calm, they just this game's kind of fun to play quarterback at a time like this.
Report on Chuck Cecil dinged in the head. He will be back. We saw that. Miller gets rid of it to Pritchard, and Pritchard has the first down. Leroy Butler on the tackle. 11-yard pass play from Miller to Pritchard.
Here we're gonna see Miller on the bootleg, fakes the draw. Now he comes out bootlegging on his own, and everybody's covered there. This is well played by Atlanta. He gets a little more time. Pritchard comes back for the football. Again, that's the 3rd time that has happened. Just the simple act of the receiver coming back. Here Miller, just a little dodge, get a little time. Tony Bennett sits down, says, "Hey, Chris, how you doing?" Chris says, "I'm doing good."
That he is. Chris Miller, 7 of 10, 62 yards. I'd say he's doing pretty well. Ball at the 42, 1st and 10 for Atlanta. Smith. And Smith ahead for maybe a yard.
Atlanta is letting their big tackles try to dominate the 2 outside pass rushes from Green Bay. Hinton that time on pop just kind of rode him out of the play. The inside helped slow it down, but that's where the Atlanta running game is focusing itself right now, and it has been successful. Those are 2 of the best tackles in football. Mike Ken, who's been playing tackle since before the First World War, is one of the very best that's ever played that position.
2nd and 9. Ball marked at the 43. 4:58 left and a half. Pritchard in motion. Miller looking all the way and finds Drew Hill complete. Drew Hill about a half a yard shy of the first down marker.
Well, again, it's that simple pass in the flat. Try to get your good receiver going as fast as possible. And again, it's so important that that quarterback put the ball on the money or those paces. Here's the throw. You see it. That one's a pretty easy one there. Butler comes over and makes a play, hits Drew up around the chest, and there's some people that are objecting to that. Broussard, the running back, who hasn't been in the game yet, says, "Hey, I need a little action here." You know, particularly when I got all my friends around me.
3rd and 1. Falcons 3 of 3. 3rd down conversion. The handoff. Yet another first down. Excellent run. Good hard run by Keith Jones. Finally stopped by Leroy Butler.
Well, they're just knocking them off the football. They're kind of repaying the favor that the Green Bay offensive line did. Here you're going to get a look now, and just watch this group come off the football here, and he starts this way, and then it's going to make the cutback. Here we go. See now see the movement. Now you see that lane right through there and up the field. Challenge that safety man. He doesn't challenge him very good, but he got to him, which is a pretty good thing for a running back.
And they got the first down. 1st and 10 from the 39 of Green Bay. Packers trailing by 14. Miller out of the shotgun. And drills it Andre Rison, obviously a mix-up there. Rison was open, but he still had his back to the ball as Miller drilled it at him. Of course, they will discuss this one, Miller and Rison.
We can. That was just some confusion. One, I think the quarterback read zone, and Andre Rison read man-to-man. He's playing in the slot, and that's where confusion comes. All of a sudden, they're asking Rison to play about 3 different spots, and everything kind of runs together. You know what you're supposed to do, but on the run, things get a little confusing, and that's what happens.
2nd and 10. Draw to Broussard, and well read by Green Bay. Lester Archambault, the tackle, but slowed up initially by Robert Brown.
Well, I think that's the last time we'll see that draw for a while. There's 0 for 2 on that.
And no gain.
The Green Bay pass rush isn't enough of a threat to make the draw work right now. I think you'll see Atlanta go back to just that turn around and hand the ball to Jones, and that's been what's successful. Now we see Atlanta with their first third and 10. Hopefully for Green Bay's sake, this is a place where Green Bay can rise to the occasion. Millard is a big issue here. He's playing over the left guard. Again, this is what Green Bay hopes can happen for him, that he can be a pass rusher.
3rd and 10. Millard replacing Robert Brown. Miller with all kinds of time, incomplete. Across the middle, the intended receiver that time was Tony Jones.
Well, again, Chris had a lot of time, and again let his receivers push up into that coverage and then come back to the football. And Chris went down and said, hey, I just threw you a one-hopper, you know. The quarterbacks, they love to talk. Chris might be thinking that it looks like Chris a little upset there. I think he expected maybe a little different pattern. But you can see the frustration. You know, he wanted to be perfect. I don't think there haven't been many incompletions so far.
And this will be the first punt of the afternoon for the Falcons. Scott Fulhag looking for the hang time and to keep it in the field of play. And it takes an Atlanta bounce. And Green Bay will start from about its own 7, although Chuck Smith tried to push it to the 5. Georgia Dome, 3rd sellout here. Falcons glad to be playing back in front of the home crowd. Matter of fact, the Falcons have enjoyed an awful lot of success in Atlanta. Glad to be back here, and they lead it 14-0. Green Bay trying to see if they can get something going.
Well, they've got 2:28 left in the half. They got 2 timeouts left. They used one up. It's a long way for a young quarterback to start one of those 2-minute drives. I think they've got to be a little cautious, but I think if they can get it out past the 30, we'll see them try to go all the way with it.
From the 8. Favre to pass. Complete to Workman across the 10 to about the 12. It'll be a gain of about 4 on the play. We'll bring up a 2nd and 6.
And I'm sure they're up on the ball. It looks like they're going to try to get one more play off before the 2-minute warning, which then gives them 2 free plays in a row without using any more time.
Green Bay with 2 timeouts remaining. Atlanta all 3. Favre to pass again. Dumps it off to Workman. And Workman, a wicked hit applied that time by Tim McKyer. And we've hit the 2-minute warning. And what better way to do it than with the head of Tim McKyer. Coming up in just a few moments, we'll send you back to New York to Greg and Terry. They'll bring you up to date with all the scores and highlights from around the NFL, including Keith Jackson catching his first touchdown pass in a Miami Dolphin uniform. That'll be coming your way in just a few moments. Here at the Dome, it's a 3rd and 2 situation for the Green Bay Packers. Ball at their own 16, 1:56 left in the first half.
Well, if they can get the first down here, you'll see them come right back in the ball and start their 2-minute offense.
Workman. And Coach Robinson seems to think he has the room necessary for the first down. Good eyes from up here, Coach.
It is a first down, and we'll see him right back on the football now. Now they've got to try to open it up a little bit, see if they can move the football down and maybe get 3. There's 1:36 left in this half.
Out of the pro set, 1st and 10 from the 19. Quick pass to Sanjay Beach. And Beach dragged down inbounds by Deion Sanders, so the clock will continue to run. 1:20 left in the first half. Packers trailing by 14.
Brett Favre did a nice job that time of immediately trying to get his club assembled and back on the ball and ready to call the next play. Really didn't waste much time.
To Workman. And Workman brought down by Jesse Solomon at about the 28. And it looks to be close to the first down, but just barely away from it. They gave him the first down, so it was a 1st and 10, and the pass completed to Jackie Harris.
Now they want timeout, and Brett Favre. That was a nice little job by Brett Favre of getting that club a couple of first downs. When you're down deep in your territory and you start that 2-minute offense, bad news can happen to you pretty fast. You know, I'll never forget the Washington Redskins in the Super Bowl against the Raiders. Started with a screen pass in their own 5, intercepted touchdown, and that always has lived in my mind. And here they did a nice job of moving it. Now they can strike from here. There's not much time left, but he's got 1 timeout, and he can strike from here. And I'm sure those are the things that Mike Holmgren is telling him. But that was a nice job by Brett, getting them up to the place where they can take a shot at it.
You said not much time, specifically 43 seconds remaining in the first half. Ball marked at the 34 of Green Bay. Green Bay with 1 timeout remaining. Falcons all 3.
That's a great combination of people there. That young quarterback, that young head coach. Both of those people are going to see some great days ahead of them. Mike Holmgren has done a marvelous job at San Francisco. You know, not only with Joe Montana, but also Steve Bono in his last couple of years. That might be his crowning achievement, taking a player who hasn't played and making him one of the best quarterbacks in the league.
Out of the pro set, Workman and Sidney, the backs. Favre completes it to Workman, and Workman runs for the first down and out of bounds. Ball will be marked at the 42. 37 seconds left. Louis Riddick ran him out of bounds.
Again, Atlanta's dropping into a deep zone. You know, Atlanta's played zone and very conservatively this whole half. They have never come really after Favre at all. And he is getting in a nice rhythm of throwing the ball short, moving up. I think he'd like to put about 2 more minutes back on that clock to get all the way down the field. But they've eventually got to take a shot deep, and they got to be thinking Sterling Sharp at some point here.
1st and 10 from the 42. Favre complete, and Sanjay Beach takes it across the 45. It will be marked at the 46, and the clock continues to roll down. 25 seconds left.
They want to save that last time out in case they can get in field goal range. Now they got to throw something up the field, deep and in, if they can, but they don't.
And Sidney runs out of bounds in Atlanta territory. Ball will be marked at about the 46 with 14 seconds remaining. Now, again, Chris Jackie's longest thus far is 47 yards, so they would have to get near about the 37.
Yeah, and you know, James, I think they got to think 30-yard line. I think
30-yard line,
basically think 30. You kick it from the 35 or 40, but you'd like to get to the 30. This has been the ultimate expression of patience by this young quarterback. He's moved this football about 60 yards, almost 60 yards in this drive. Let's see if he can get something on the board.
Brett Favre has completed his last 12 in a row. We'll see if he can keep it going. Off the fingertips of Jackie Harris.
Well, that time Atlanta got a little impatient and came with a corner blitz, got man-to-man, and they did put it up the field. Here we're going to look at a replay. We won't see the corner till the very end, coming off the right side of your screen, but it's the tight end down the middle. There you see him. He's got a chance to make the play. He should have caught that football. That drop resulted in the loss of at least 3 points, I think. Now they got one more shot, but there's only 9 seconds, and they've got to throw something, get timeout immediately to have a chance to get any points on the board. Excellent throw by Favre, however.
Drills it complete to Jackie Harris, but time is down to 1 second. It looked as if Green Bay may not get the timeout, and that certainly is in range for Chris Jackie.
Well, this is an excellent job by Favre. If that were Joe Montana, everybody would be saying, see, Joe Montana did it again. Watch him. He's patient. He's running out of time. He comes down. He says, hey, I got a second left. Throws one of those fastballs. Harris redeems himself and makes that catch, and see him make the timeout. Excellent play by Harris, and again, that's typical of the football that Mike Holmgren teaches, and that's really an outstanding job. And if they get 3 points here, credit that young man with one of the best drives he's ever had. Yes, they are. They are. They're going to kick the football. Here they're just taking a little time. I think the field goal kicker, Jackie, is over to the sideline. He's got to take one more shot at the net. He doesn't realize that if he doesn't get out there, we don't put him on TV. Somebody's got to talk to this kid.
So this will be a 42-yard field goal attempt by Chris Jackie. He's 13 of 22 career-wise in this range. And it's no good. So the Pack, with 1 second left, comes away empty-handed. That's the end of the first half with the score: Atlanta 14, Green Bay nothing. Greg and Terry will be back in a bit.
Halftime Report is sponsored by Levi's Dockers. Nobody does color like Dockers.
And those of you who've been watching the Packers and the Falcons. He's Terry Bradshaw. I'm Greg Gumbel. Welcome back to our studios here. The Falcons leading the Packers by a score of 14-0. The Falcons losing 3 in a row, and the Packers won 2 straight, but things have turned around so far in the Georgia Dome. The Falcons always play better.
Yeah, the Falcons are playing better, and they're really not giving the young quarterback Favre a chance to get the ball deep to his receivers. And the idea that the Buckley is starting in there and Vinnie Clark's on the other side, both of touchdown passes to Pritchard and to Rison. Hard to beat the Falcons down in the Georgia Dome today, desperately needing a win, and they're playing very well.
Yeah, Favre has chalked up some numbers, but no points on the board so far. Brett, 14 of 19, 106 yards, and he's thrown an interception. Miami at Buffalo, a battle of the unbeatens, and the Dolphins are leading 17-3 in the second quarter. Keith Jackson, 3 receptions for 55 yards and a touchdown thus far for the Dolphins. Some thought he wouldn't be ready to play. He is more than ready, in Miami, which hasn't won in Buffalo since 1986, leads at 17-3. The Bears and the Vikings, 2 field goals, all that the Bears have managed, but the defense has made it stand up for a 6-0 lead at the Metrodome. Kevin Butler, 50-yarder here, becomes the Bears' all-time leading scorer. He has 2 of them in the first half, and then Rich Gannon is picked off by Donnell Wolford.
This is just a poorly thrown pass. Gannon under a lot of pressure, but look, you see 2 Bears in the corner of the end zone, something Gannon last week against the Bengals did not do, was throw interceptions. He threw 4 touchdown passes, forced that interception, has missed 2 key third-down conversions to keep the Viking drives alive in the first half.
For the Vikings, Anthony Carter caught a pass for the 100th consecutive game. He is the 8th player in NFL history to do so. At Tampa, the Bucs lead the Colts 14-7. That's a second quarter score. Jeff George has thrown a couple of interceptions in his first start this year for Indianapolis. And at the Silverdome in Pontiac, the Lions have just put some points on the board and have now taken the lead over the New Orleans Saints by a score of 6-3, pending the extra point. Now, in this game, the start of the quarterback position for the Lions went to Rodney Peete, who had the sore ankle, and they have just taken the lead in that game with 4 seconds to go in the first half. A reminder, this is a doubleheader day of NFL action here on CBS. Coming up, some of you will see the Giants and the Raiders, or the Redskins against the Cards. Most of you will see the Rams and the 49ers. And Pat Summerall and John Madden at Candlestick with a report.
Well, you know, John, in talking to both George Seifert of the 49ers and Chuck Knox of the Rams yesterday, both were concerned about the tremendous number of big hits, vicious hits in some cases, that their wide receivers are taking.
Yeah, I think the wide receivers are taking way too many hits inside. You know, they changed the rules where the defensive backs can't really get physical with the receivers before the ball gets there. And I think what they're doing now is when a guy gets the ball, especially in the middle of the field, they're just teeing off on him and taking some shots. And I think something has to be done about it. I know Jerry Rice is one of the greatest receivers that's ever played this game. He's played 4 games. He's already had 2 concussions.
Now, what's to be done about it if he so chooses?
Well, you know, one of the things the 49ers are doing, they're thinking of using this helmet that has a special pad and, you know, put it on Jerry Rice's regular helmet, and it just fits right over the helmet, and it's held on by Velcro. And I think after you've had, again, 2 concussions in 4 games, you have to start thinking of doing something, because the 49ers do have to get the ball to Rice.
They certainly do, and we'll be watching whatever he wears, how they get him involved. Now back to New York and Greg Gumbel.
All right, Pat, thanks very much. You know, the Giants got things on a roll against the Chicago Bears and have a chance to pull even at 2-2 against the Raiders.
And that roll on the Bears really was kicked off in the second half of the Cowboy game that the Giants had lost. But the thing I really noticed is that Phil Simms is moving the ball around to Ed McCaffrey, second-year, big, tall, wide receiver. He's got like 14 receptions, and Baker, the other receiver, he's got like 18, and Cross, the tight end, and then Hampton, the running back. And he's really spreading the ball around, which really puts a lot of pressure on the defense, because you don't know which guy you need to double. So I think it's the offense, the passing offense of the Giants right now, and that defense is really starting to pick it up, and they believe they can win now, Greg.
All right, Terry, we have 2 scores to update for you. First of all, at Minnesota, Jim Harbaugh has thrown a touchdown pass to Tom Waddle, 24 yards, and the Bears lead the Vikings 13-0 as they approach halftime. And the Detroit Lions have a Rodney Peete to Brett Perryman 7-yard touchdown pass, and they lead the Saints by a score of 7-3. And the NFL on CBS continues after this from your local station.
Back inside of the Georgia Dome, 71,000 strong. The Falcons on top, 14-0. Green Bay Packers have really hurt themselves. The miscues right there, as you take a look, the Favre interception led to the momentum builder for Atlanta. And Jackie missed a 43-yarder. They came up empty-handed on an awfully long drive. But, John, 14-0, it could be worse. What do you think Mike Holmgren is saying to his squad?
Well, this game looked like a blowout when it started, and now Green Bay's got things settled down a little bit. The second quarter went very well for them, but they didn't get any points. If they'd have gotten that field goal, I'm sure they'd have felt a lot better. Mike Holmgren had to say to his staff, his football team and his staff, we're okay. We just need to be able to put together some drives. We've slowed down the Atlanta run and shoot. Maybe things can go our way if we can make a big play or two.
Favre has improved, went 14 of 19 in that first half. Do you think he's calm? Does he have the right mindset for the second half?
Oh, I think he's doing great. That was a great drive at the end of the half. That's a Joe Montana type drive, so I think he's very much into the game. He hasn't done much up the field, but he's starting to get in a rhythm, and the noise hasn't been a problem. He's been efficient. He just needs to have a couple good things happen, and they can get back in the game.
All right, he is potentially explosive, and we'll find out what the second half has to offer as we come back to the Dome after this. Atlanta will receive the kickoff here in the second half. Falcons have won 9 of its last 12 home games in Atlanta, and right now lead it 14-0. Deion Sanders, NFL's leading kickoff returner, unbelievable average of 45 yards per return. And he won't do it this time as he wisely decides it. Touchback. It'll be 1st and 10, Atlanta from its own 20. Now, there is a flag way back at about the 38. And that's usually an indication of offsides.
Green Bay was offside, and you know they're going to make them kick that ball again. I'm sure Mike Holmgren had a sigh of relief when he downed that ball in the end zone. He doesn't want to see him do it again.
Kicking team, 5-yard penalty.
Deion Sanders makes the kickoff one of the most exciting plays in football. There's just something about this guy when he's on the field and his demeanor. He just brings excitement to the game. I'm sure Green Bay is going to think seriously about kicking the ball away from him if they can. I don't think Jackie can kick that ball out of the end zone from the 30.
I mentioned the NFL's leading kickoff returner, 45.2. He is, in fact, Mr. Excitement. John, I tell you, I'm really impressed. I mean, a two-sport star like this, but this guy really is an exceptional athlete.
And, you know, he has a reputation within his own team of being a great leader, a great competitor. He's perceived as, you know, in a different way by the general public, but inside the Atlanta Falcon team, he is a highly thought-of man as well as known as a great player.
And this will be the last time the Falcons see him for a bit, as he will be going to play baseball for the postseason. From the 9. There he goes. A 48-yard return by Deion Sanders, and that's why you don't kick to him.
Here's the ball. It's kicked on a line drive, so this coverage does not get down the field. You'd like to get them down inside the 30, and they don't get there. And watch the acceleration of Deion Sanders. He just looks like it. Watch right there. Look at the hole. And boy, is he through that hole. And Chris Jackie saying, oh, my Lord.
48 yards on the return. Atlanta starting from the 43 of Green Bay. 1st and 10. Miller completes to Rison, who reverses field again. Fumble. They say down. The ball is down.
Since instant replay has been eliminated, this is probably the most difficult call that officials have to make now. Here we're going to get a look at now. If the fumble is caused by the ground, you see there now he's down. His knee is down. The play's over. Now the ball is knocked loose because it hits the ground. But once his knee is down, the whistle has to blow. In the past, because of replay, people have not blown the whistle fast. The whistle should be blown now. The ground causes the fumble. It bounces up in the air. No fumble. And that's a good call.
So it brings up a 2nd and 5 from the 38. The handoff to Jones. And Jones slipping through. 1st down, Atlanta. John, I tell you, I'm really impressed. Keith Jones has really been running hard. A 7-yard gallop. The balance we talked about with this red gun offense with the running game.
Yeah, the running game is really helping them. Keith Millard has a shot here. You see Keith Millard right in front of the right guard. The ball goes right by him. He's off. Boom, he got a chance. He just doesn't make the tackle. That's where the big running back has the advantage. He can run through those arm tackles.
1st and 10 from the 31 of Green Bay as you take a look at Keith Millard. 13-32. Left in the 3rd period of play. Atlanta on top 14-0. Pritchard in motion. Miller with time. Intended receiver was Andre Rison. Vinnie Clark, the defender. Chris Miller, 9 of 15 for the game, was 8 of 13 in the first half for 70 yards and 2 touchdowns. But he's been remarkably calm even under pressure.
Well, he hasn't had a lot of pressure, and he's had a chance to throw the football short. It's hard to find anything deep up in the field. A surprising stat of the first half, Atlanta only had the ball 3 times in the first half, 3 possessions. Now, they put good drives together each of those times, but they only had it 3 times.
Out of the red gun again. Jones, the lone back. 2nd and 10. Jones. And Jones squirting ahead, slithering ahead. A gain of about 3. Stopped by Bryce Pop.
That time Green Bay guessed right, and they brought the safety man, dropped him into the hole, and gave them basically 1 extra guy. And the run and shoot cannot be effective against that, and that was not a very good play. But you notice Jones managed to get 3 yards out of a play that could have easily been a no gain or a -1.
A good back will find a way to get you something. 12:46 left in the 3rd. 3rd and 7. Low snap. Miller picks it up. And pressure. And is sacked. Give the credit to Tony Bennett. 3rd sack of the season for Tony Bennett. 9th for the Packers this year.
Tony Bennett is a player of the future for the Packers. They think he's going to develop into that big-time outside pass rusher. He did a good job. Football short. It's hard to find anything deep up in the field. A surprising stat of the first half. Atlanta only had the ball 3 times in the first half. 3 possessions. Now, they put good drives together each of those times, but they only had it 3 times.
Out of the red gun again. Jones, the lone back. 2nd and 10. Jones. And Jones squirting ahead, slithering ahead. A gain of about 3. Stopped by Bryce Pop.
That time Green Bay guessed right, and they brought the safety man, dropped him into the hole, and gave them basically 1 extra guy. And the run and shoot cannot be effective against that, and that was not a very good play. But you notice Jones managed to get 3 yards out of a play that could have easily been a no gain or a -1.
A good back will find a way to get you something. 12:46 left in the 3rd. 3rd and 7. Low snap. Miller picks it up. And pressure. And is sacked. Give the credit to Tony Bennett. 3rd sack of the season for Tony Bennett. 9th for the Packers this year.
Tony Bennett is a player of the future for the Packers. They think he's going to develop into that big-time outside pass rusher. He did a good job that time. But you got to give credit to the Green Bay secondary. They did an excellent job of coverage. Here you see Bennett. Actually, you see him starting to come underneath. Miller doesn't have what he wants, tries to scramble. Bennett's quick enough to come off and make the tackle.
So this will be a 49-yard field goal attempt by Norm Johnson. Folks, it's good. That's his best of the season by 3 yards. Here on CBS. Johnson with the boot. Roberts from 1 yard deep in the end zone. I'll make that Brooks. And Robert Brooks takes it up to about the 25-yard line. And John, I was promoting that second game of the doubleheader here. The Niners-Rams. You've enjoyed a lot of success against the 49ers in years past.
Yeah, for some reason, the Rams won 3 out of the last 5 in San Francisco, but never could beat San Francisco in our own home stadium. That picture showed Jerry Rice, who I've seen enough of that picture.
That you have. As we take a look again at the NFC West, Atlanta, we talked again at the top of the show, a must-win situation with San Francisco playing so well. New Orleans always tough. The Rams at 2-2. 1st and 10 for Green Bay. Ball at its own 25. Workman, the lone back. Jackie Harris is in motion. Favre throws it complete to Sterling Sharp. 2nd catch of the afternoon for Sterling Sharp and a gain of 3. Sterling Sharp was one guy that Jerry Glanville was most afraid of coming into the game, but so far they've kept him pretty well contained.
Well, I think he caused them to think about playing zone pass defense for most of this game. You know, we anticipated a lot of matchups between Sharp and McKyer and Sanders, but we haven't seen any of it because Atlanta says, we're going to keep this guy in front of us and play, make sure that we make him catch the ball short.
Green Bay has not had good field position the entire afternoon. 2nd and 6. Play action. Favre throws it complete to Harris. Harris has the 1st down. Big Jackie Harris brought down by Darian Connor. Jackie Harris, a 3rd-year tight end out of Northeast Louisiana, and the Green Bay staff high on him.
Oh, I think he fits exactly what they want in a tight end. You know, you think back those 3 points that are so big now, I think, for Atlanta. You got to give those to Deion Sanders. He was the guy that made the play that counted in that thing. He brought the kickoff all the way back to inside the 40, and they put together a 10 or 12-yard drive for the field goal. Boy, I just don't think you ever kick the ball to a guy like that, ever give him a chance to do what he can do.
On 1st and 10, complete to Sharp. 3rd reception of the afternoon for Sterling Sharp, as he's about 2 yards shy of the 1st down marker.
Well, that's the first time we saw man-to-man coverage, and they immediately went to Sharp. Brett Favre, I think, changed the play on the line of scrimmage and got that slant. Sterling Sharp is one of the best slant receivers in the league because he's so strong. Cornerbacks just can't deny him the inside. He just kind of shoves you off and runs inside, makes the catch. This man is one, because he's been playing in a club that hasn't won a lot of games recently, people don't know much about him, but he is one of the very best in this league.
No question about that. 2nd and 1. And on the ground, it looks to be good for the 1st down as Brett Favre hands the ball off.
I'm really surprised that Atlanta is playing the way they are. Their instincts have always been to come after you, attack you, force you into the bad play. But this is a containing defense that is just trying to keep each game to a minimum. It's working out for them. The other guys don't have any points, but it is not typical Jerry Glanville defense.
1st and 10. Ball at the 47. 9-10 left in the 3rd period of play. Atlanta on top 17-0. Favre, deep drop. With time, drills it complete to Sharp. And Sharp pushed out of bounds at about the 24-yard line of Atlanta. Deion Sanders, a 24-yard pass play.
Well, again, that's a question of a lot of time. Again, that soft defense breaks down. If the quarterback will hold the play long enough, watch Favre go back, watch Sharp push up the field, then come inside, and look how much time that takes. He even gets a chance to turn around and see the safety. This is one of the best guys after the catch in the league because he's so strong. Deion Sanders limped off the field after that play. We're just going to have to wait and see how bad it is.
You know, he had that sprained foot from the Chicago contest. And the draw to Workman. And Workman ahead for only one. You know, not only the Atlanta Falcons fans are holding their collective breath, the Atlanta Braves certainly doing likewise as well.
You know, he's got one of those things down in the arch on the edge of it where sometimes the support just goes there. You see they're trying to tape it up. That's what trainers do when they don't know what to do. Say, hey, put a little tape on it and get a little dirt on it and send him back out there. But this guy's too valuable for that. I think they're going to make sure he's okay before he goes back out.
And that's that same slightly sprained left ankle from the Chicago contest.
Here comes the blitz again. They're up there, man coverage. They're coming after him.
2nd and 9. Bruce Pickens in to replace Deion Sanders. And Favre gets it complete to Sharp. And Sharp takes it down to about the 16. A 6-yard pass play. Brett Favre, 18 of his last 19 for 146 yards.
Here we see Sharp on a it's an audible. Now you see they're changing the play against man coverage, trying to bring Sharp down. You see him come underneath the tight end, angle all the way across the field, so it's very hard to stay with him if it is man coverage. Brett Favre, I think, has just done a great job. He had pressure that time, has some of that John Elway instinct of just kind of knowing where people are, stepping up, and gets the ball to Sharp.
3rd and 3 at the 15. Favre to Sharp again, and Sharp. Touchdown, Green Bay. That's exactly what Jerry Glanville was talking about, how tough this guy is to bring down.
Well, you know, there's no question he could play tailback for this team, I think, and do a great job of at that position. Again, the ball thrown to him in front of the defensive back where he has a difficult time coming up to tackle. Sharp knows he's not going to tackle him. He just looked like he flicked him off and went in for the touchdown.
A 16-yard pass play for the touchdown from Favre to Sharp, and Tim McKyer was the one who missed the tackle. 6 catches for 67 yards on the afternoon for Sterling Sharp.
Okay.
And the Packers finally put 7 on the scoreboard.
Here's the replay. Watch how far off the corner is of Sharp. He starts down and in. See the motion. Look at McKyer. Look where McKyer's lost. He's trying to catch up, but now Sharp has the football and has the advantage. McKyer kind of ducks his head. Sharp has a touchdown.
Deion Sanders is back and has the kickoff return from his own 1. And Sanders dives ahead to about the 22. Now, this took place before the game as we take a look at what's taking place right now. A little exchange of pushing down on the field. And I guess the sentiments weren't quite like that before the game as we take a look at Sterling Sharp getting an autograph from Deion Sanders. Don't tell me they don't like each other.
That's called the setup there, saying, I'll be nice to you, but man, I'm going to beat you in the game.
Sterling Sharp, 3-time All-Pro, and he's getting an autograph from Deion Sanders. Sterling Sharp has a group of about 78 family and friends here, so you know he wants to keep the string going of looking good. Miller with time drills it incomplete, intended receiver Mike Pritchard, and the guy defending nicely that time was Leroy Butler. 8 plays, 75 yards, 5:22 off the clock. That was a scoring drive.
You know,
Favre to Sharp.
Green Bay is doing an excellent job of controlling the football. Since the first quarter, Green Bay has had the football. They haven't put as many points on as they would have liked, but they've had the football. And if they can continue to control the football when they have it and make a few big plays on defense, they got a real shot.
2nd and 10. Rising in motion. Miller back to pass. Throws it complete. And not much room as Haynes was trying to find a little bit of room that time, but an 8-yard pass play from Miller to Haynes. You know, Michael Haynes, of course, missed the past 2 weeks with a slightly separated right shoulder, John, and the coaching staff told us something unusual about what they would try to keep him from doing in the game.
Well, they don't want him to come inside where he's going to take a hit from any of those safeties or linebackers, but you're going to see him go deep at least once or twice more. They started the game off with Mike going deep. Now they'll come back to him, and Buckley's doing a nice job on him. He has covered him pretty much throughout the game, and I'm sure he's very nervous about it, but he's doing a good job.
3rd and 2, 6:02 left in the third quarter of play. Falcons on top 17-7. On the ground again. And Broussard.
He did not make that first down. Now, you know, the third down, he did not get the first down. One of the things that you sense happening, the Atlanta Falcons have flattened out a little bit. Andre Rison, who just dominated this whole field, suddenly has disappeared. Johnny Holland is a big guy in this football game at middle linebacker, but he's got to be able to step up and make the plays. Here we see 3rd down and 1. There's not much room. Comes right up and makes the tackle. Broussard tries to get away from him, goes sideways, and that's what the linebacker likes. He stops him short of the first down.
Scott Fulhag on to punt to a dangerous Terrell Buckley. He has a 58-yard return to his credit, but nowhere to go this time. Michael Reed with the stop. It'll be Green Bay ball when we come back. That'll be coming up later on CBS, 60 Minutes. Right now, we've got a good football game in front of us. James Brown along with John Robinson, 17-7. Atlanta on top of Green Bay, 5:05 left in the third period of play. Favre 19 of his last 20 for 162 yards. 1st and 10, Green Bay from its own 19. McGee comes up to check what the call is. Sanjay Beach complete as he takes it across the 25 to about the 27. Now, the noise thus far hasn't been a major problem for Favre.
Well, that time they gave him both the blitz look and the noise. I don't know how they synchronized those exactly, but Favre went right there, audibilized that play, and got the message across to his people. It's so hard to hear as a wide receiver in a stadium like this, so they're trying to signal out to them from the quarterback to the wide receiver. Again, got to that short pass that got him 7 yards or 8 yards.
7 to be exact, brings up a 2nd and 3. Ball at the 26. And the handoff to Workman. First down by a bunch. Vince Workman takes it up to the 35-yard line. A 9-yard run by Workman.
Here we're seeing Workman start to his left, and watch how they knock the Atlanta defensive line off the ball. He's going to cut back into a hole here. This is one of the key blocks. Let's see it as it develops. Tuggle is just getting himself blocked by the tight end. Workman is moving up the field, and the Green Bay offensive line is just doing a fine job.
And Workman specifically 13 carries for 70 yards. He continues his fine play, had a total of 85 on the ground last week. Play action, Favre complete to Jackie Harris. Harris run out of bounds at the 40, a gain of 5 on the play. Right now, let's check in for an NFL update with Greg.
All right, JB, in Detroit, Vaughn Dunbar from a yard out gets his first NFL touchdown. It's the first rushing TD for the Saints this year, and they grab a 10-7 lead over the Lions in the third quarter, JB.
All right, Greg, and it looks like a good battle up there indeed. And Brett Favre certainly has been playing extremely well. I think those numbers say it all, John, but you said it's so typical of this type of offense.
Well, Mike Holmgren has him willing to take the short pass and just do a great job with it.
2nd and 5. Play action in the boot by Favre, who drills it complete to Sharp for the first down in Atlanta territory. Ball at the 45. A 15-yard pass play as Sharp beats McKyer.
Well, that time Sharp had to be the 4th wide receiver in this particular pattern. They were looking the other way, then to number 80, Harris, the tight end, and then back to Sharp, which really says a lot about Favre. He found his 4th receiver. I think Sharp was just going out there wandering around. He said, oh my gosh, here I got the ball. Nothing dramatic about that, except that Favre is now seeing and feeling, and he is into this game. And obviously, when you're 21 or 22, you're into the game.
1st and 10, ball at the 45 of Atlanta.
Here comes the blitz.
Here comes Workman, and Workman is dropped. A loss on a play. Darian Connor, nice hit.
Well, that's the typical Atlanta defense. Now you see them starting to come. They're starting to get nervous, so they're going to attack. That play was one missed tackle away from a big gain. But now Atlanta's going to change up and come after it. We're going to see Favre have to make some adjustments, but he's already made 2 or 3 of those along the way on this drive.
Just saw a shot of Ty Detmer signaling in the play. Ty Detmer, draft pick out of BYU. 2nd and 11 from the 46 of Atlanta. 1:33 left in the 3rd. Favre. Incomplete. Intended receiver. Is there a flag on the play? There is. The intended receiver was Robert Brooks.
It's a personal foul on Atlanta for roughing the passer. You know, I've often wanted to ask quarterbacks, would you be willing to take those kind of hits for 15 yards, you know? And if their eyes aren't crossed, they say yes. If they're crossed, they say, I'm not so.
Personal foul, roughing the passer, number 58. Defense, late hit.
And that is against Jesse Tuggle.
You see Tuggle coming from the right of your screen. He's circling around behind. There's the hit.
Not much of a hit that time.
He almost should just on those kind of hits, you should just have to apologize and no penalty.
And to be quite honest with you, I was actually reacting with a bit of surprise, saying Tuggle. I mean, it doesn't seem like he's that type of player.
Trying not to hit him. That's they're trying. Officials are trying so hard to make sure that they protect quarterbacks that went a little bit to the extreme.
All said and done, it's a 1st and 10 at the 31 of Atlanta. 1:26 left in the 3rd. Packers trailing by 10. And Workman has the black wave swarming him, a gain of only 1 on the play.
First down runs are going to be harder now because I think Atlanta is aware that they've got to get up there and stop the runner or they're going to be in trouble. So we're going to see more attacking defenses from Atlanta on 1st down. Mike Holmgren, I'm sure, is starting to get a feel for that. So we may see a couple of big throws coming on 1st down.
And I wonder what this young man, Jesse Tuggle, is visualizing today. He was telling us how important that is to his play.
Yeah, great linebackers do a great job of preparation, and Jesse Tuggle does that, sits and thinks about what's going to happen all week. I don't think he visualized that Favre would be 22 for 23.
No doubt about that. On 2nd and 9, Favre pumps, comes back across, incomplete to Ed West. Greg Gumbel, awfully busy in New York right now. Let's check back in with him.
All right, James, at Minnesota, Jim Harbaugh, quarterback draw, 6 yards, touchdown. And with the extra point, the Bears lead over the Vikings is now 20-0, 4.5 to play in the 3rd quarter.
All right, Greg, back here in Atlanta, a little surprising. Harbaugh, not the prettiest quarterback, but effective.
Oh, he's the perfect Chicago Bear quarterback. Mike Ditka has to say, that's my guy. Wouldn't it be awful if he ever got traded to somebody else? He's Chicago all the way.
He can take Ditka's stuff. 3rd and 9. Favre complete to McGee. And McGee is going to be shy of the 1st down by about a yard and a half. Jesse Tuggle on the stop.
I think the communication between Mike Holmgren and Brett Favre has just been fantastic. They have been in rhythm all day. Whatever Mike calls, Brett executes. That time it was zone. He goes to the short line. Didn't get the first down, but did a nice job.
You see the clock running down. Will Jackie have time to get it off before the end of the quarter? This will be a 41-yard field goal attempt. And it does not count. It did not get off in time, as time did run out.
So that was just a practice one there, and it does not count. Jackie's, I don't know if that one went through or not, but whatever way it is, Jackie's lobbying in that direction.
Gordon McCarter with his crew sorting this one out, and
that's not going to count because the back judge was running forward, saying that the time had expired long before that ball was snapped.
The end of the third quarter.
so that is the end of the third quarter with the score Atlanta 17, Green Bay 7. We'll be back for the final stanza after this.
We see time ran out just before you see him coming forward. No play. Kick again at the start of the fourth quarter.
Here's a 41-yarder again. And this one is good anyway. So Chris Jackie boots an extra 3 on the board for Holmgren's Packers. And it's now a 7-point ball game. Mike Holmgren staying right on top of the action with this play calling. Atlanta leading Green Bay by only 7, 17-10. 14:55 left in the contest. 9 plays covering 58 yards, 5:10 off the clock, culminating in a Chris Jackie 41-yard field goal. Chris Jackie kicking off again. Let's hope not, if you're a Packer fan, to Deion Sanders. But it is, and Sanders from the 4. And Sanders that time stopped at about the 15-yard line. George Kuntz on the tackle. And you can see Sanders limping noticeably on that left ankle of his. We'll return to Atlanta after this message from your local station. You're watching the NFL on CBS. Trailing by only 7 with 14:46 left in the game.
Well, it's just astounding what's happened since the first quarter. Look at that graphic. Green Bay had 49 yards in the first quarter, 236, and it's just the opposite for Atlanta. They got to get Rising back in this game.
On the ground, Atlanta on first down.
You know, I think right now in this game, Green Bay is happy to let them take all of those runs they can. You know, and they're getting some ball possession out of it, but not enough to get them back in the flow that they had in the first quarter. I think they're going to need to keep throwing the football to Rising. Look at that time. That's just amazing. And that was just the opposite at the end of the first quarter. This has been total domination by Green Bay since that point.
Keith Jones was the ball carrier, bringing up a 2nd and 5 here. Ball at the 20. Jones again. And Jones ahead for maybe a couple.
Well, the faithful are even starting to get a little uneasy here. Now, this comes up 3rd and 2. And if you recall, they gave the ball to Jones on 3rd and 2 the last time. Johnny Holland stepped right up there and stopped him. I'll bet we see that flat pass, or at least a throw of some kind here, with through 2 and a 3rd and a long 2.
And there's the man who makes all the calls, Jerry Glanville. A man who has perhaps the smallest coaching staff in the NFL. 7. Most coaching staffs, you said, are between 9 and 13. Miller going back to the second option, and it's batted down. Keith Millard with an excellent defensive play.
Well, that makes signing Keith Millard worth it. They tried to go in the flat that time. Millard's the defensive right tackle, but what happened there, they tried to go in the flat right now. Here's Millard, the defensive right tackle, but he's not the big issue. He tried, Chris Miller tries to go in the flat to Pritchard right now, and he is covered right now. And so he has to turn around, and now Millard gets back in the game. Watch how he continues to push, find a spot, stay alive. He's getting beat here, but he gets his hand up and makes a play. He has to feel good about that. But he was blocked for the most part.
Scott Fulhag will be punting to Terrell Buckley. Buckley back near his own 30. From the 37. And Buckley dropped by Ken Tippins, who pushed him back to about the 32. Excellent coverage effort on the part of the Falcons. With 13:09 left in the game, it's a very tenuous 7-point lead that Atlanta holds on to over the Green Bay Packers. Brett Favre has been simply sensational. But, Coach, I tell you, it's like you're back on the sidelines. You're fired up, and certainly that Green Bay defense has been nice.
Well, I'm so excited about the comeback Green Bay has made and the job that Mike Holmgren and Brett Favre are doing. He is 22 of 23 or something like that in the last part of this football game. He's real good. And you know there's a big play coming somewhere along the way from he to Sharp.
Atlanta only 91 yards, or make it 91 yards in the first quarter, only 76. Green Bay now has it, 1st and 10. Ball at its own 34. Favre back to pass. And overthrows the intended receiver, Robert Brooks, who had to really stretch for that one.
Well, Robert Brooks did just an excellent job. He ran a corner pass and completely lost the defensive back. See, this is what I love about this kid. He makes a little mistake, and he thinks, you know, he doesn't realize all these people are here yelling against him. He thinks everybody's here to watch him.
Well, he's got a few of his own here cheering for him.
Look at him. He's having this. You know, he wants to play too, I bet.
Including his family. His family came up from Kill, Mississippi. Actually spelled K-I-L-N, but pronounced Kill. And there's his father pointing there. Irving Favre. 2nd and 10 on the ground. And Vince Workman dropped in the backfield. Darian Connor, a loss of 2 on the play.
Well, you remember all of those runs that worked so well earlier in the football game. Atlanta's coming up and stopping them now. I think the pass is going to have to be the primary vehicle. They move the ball in the 4th quarter unless it's draw plays or that sort of thing. But they are basically trying to stop the run right now. 3rd and 12, we're going to have to see Favre stand back there and throw the ball down into the teeth of this defense. If I were a pass blocker, I would love this guy. He stands back in there and seems to be calm and yet able to move around to get a little extra time.
And Favre calls a timeout. As a matter of fact, we saw Rutgers and Moran holding hands. We'll explain why when we come back.
James, you mentioned about the offensive lineman holding hands. It's basically a response to the noise. The tackle can't see the ball, so he wants to be able to keep his concentration on the outside rusher. The offensive guard gives him a jerk to tell him that the ball's centered, and then he can back up and handle the pass rusher.
I guess a graphic example of teamwork.
You know, and when those things work, they start holding hands all day. Locker room, meetings, everything. Say, man, this is good stuff. There it is, holding hands.
3rd and 12. Packers 4 of 8 on 3rd down conversions. Complete to Workman. But it's going to be well shy of what was needed for the 1st down. There is a flag on the play back at about the 25 in the backfield.
Oh, it's on Atlanta. It's another late hit. It's another one of those, looks like one of those. Mo Gardner right at the quarterback. Hit him in the head. and then goes right to Brett Favre's head, and that's what you can't do. You see the hands in his face. That's a great call, and that's something that they just can't let the defensive lineman get away with. And that was a blow, you know, intended to inflict some hurt on him. But I don't think you can hurt this kid. This kid may not know, you know, what all that is, other than, hey, we got a first down. We got a football game, and we got a Green Bay team that doesn't seem like it wants to be denied.
1st and 10 from the 46 of Atlanta. Workman inside the 45 to about the 42. Gardner and Green on the stop right now. Let's check back in New York.
All right, James, at the Metrodome in Minnesota, the Vikings get on the board. Todd Scott, 3 interceptions last week and 1 today. 35-yard return as he picks off Jim Harbaugh, and the Vikings are on the board 20-7. They now trail the Bears in the 4th quarter, JB.
All right, Greg, and sometimes it takes the defense to get things ignited, that is, and we'll see what happens there in Minnesota. Right now, Tim Green slow getting up off of the carpet here at the Georgia Dome.
Well, right now it's an Atlanta defense that's back on its heels. It doesn't seem to be able to find the combination. You know, you would think they would come and upset Brett Favre, but they haven't even made him blink so far in this football game. And I don't think the noise is, you know, if Mike Holmgren said, how do you react to the noise? He's going to say, what noise? You know, he's just into the game so much and playing so well that nothing seems to bother him.
Not only has the noise not bothered him, but I found it kind of interesting when we asked Brett Favre, you've played against this Atlanta defense a lot last year. You asked him that question. He had a very interesting response.
Yeah, he said, no, I didn't pay much attention to him. I just read the cards that they gave me.
2nd and 7 from the 43. Favre going backside, pumping, under pressure, gets rid of it, incomplete, no flag on the play. Mo Gardner, among others, applying pressure on Brett Favre.
Well, the idea that they had with the pattern just didn't work out, and they were covered, and he's stuck back there with the ball. But I marvel at how he is going about getting rid of the ball. He avoids sacks. He's strong enough to shove some people off and quick enough to buy a little extra time, then throws the ball away intentionally and doesn't get called. That's what veterans do. That's what guys that have played in this league 10 years try to do.
And that's what a veteran quarterback coach and offensive coordinator like Mike Holmgren can do for you. 3rd and 7. Sacked by Tim Green. 2nd sack of the season for Green. 8th for Atlanta on the season.
Here we see Green beat the left guard right now. He's by Moran on the first step, and that's a sack right now, and that's a great job by Green. That was all his. He just won that battle right now.
Deion Sanders back for the punt return. Paul McJulian on to punt for the Packers. Excellent hang time. Sanders fair catches it at the 8. We'll be back. Falcons ball when we return. We now go to New York for a special report from CBS News.
This is a special report from CBS News. I'm Charles Kuralt, CBS News, New York. An Israeli El Al cargo jet exploded this afternoon as it was approaching the airport at Amsterdam in the Netherlands. Flaming pieces of debris from the Boeing 747 have fallen into a suburb of Amsterdam, hitting a large apartment complex. Dutch television reports there have been dozens of fatalities on the ground. It's not known how many people were aboard the plane. The cause of the explosion is not known. Dutch air traffic controllers say they suspect a bomb, since the plane's crew reported no difficulty in the moments before the explosion. An official of El Al says he suspects this was an accident, a matter of engine failure. If the explosion was caused by a bomb, it would be the first terrorist attack on an airliner in the Netherlands, and it would be the worst disaster for Israel's security-conscious national airline. To repeat, an El Al cargo jet has exploded over Amsterdam. Dozens of fatalities are reported on the ground. We'll keep you informed as the day goes along. This has been a CBS News special report. I'm Charles Kuralt, CBS News, New York.
All right, Charles, back here to live action at the Georgia Dome. There were 2 plays run while we were away for that report. One play incomplete as Lester Archambault tipped the pass by Chris Miller. The second, a 24-yard pass play from Miller to Tony Jones. It's 1st and 10, Atlanta ball at its own 38. 9:44 left in the game. Falcons on top, 17-10. Chris Miller with time. Throws it complete to Pritchard. And Pritchard up to the 45. James Brown along with John Robinson. And John, again, Atlanta looks as if it's trying to get some momentum back.
Well, they've given up on the run now. They're going to go to the air and try to win this football game, throw it to those speedy wide receivers. Miller has enough time to be able to sit back there and find him, and we'll see that. Unless they run a draw, we will not see another run the rest of this game, I would suspect. Now it's a question of can they move the football down, throwing the ball. I think a big play offensively or a big mistake is going to decide this game.
2nd and 3 from the 45. Miller out of the shotgun, in the rear gun, trips right. Miller with time, batted down. Lester Archambault. That is the 2nd excellent defensive effort by Archambault while you were away. He tipped one of those passes. This one he batted down.
Well, you know, sometimes when you don't even make the play very well, he's blocked here and he's just kind of standing around watching. Watch, he's sitting there. Now he's far enough away from him that he gets up, blocks the ball. You know, he jumped a solid 2 inches off the ground that time and got those arms up. You know, it's a great play, but it wasn't much of a pass rush. Sometimes that's when balls get batted down. They're down and 4. This is a big play for Atlanta.
Complete to Rison for the 1st down and more. Rison out of bounds at the 37 of Green Bay. Roland Mitchell finally ran him out of bounds. An 18-yard pass play.
Here we look at Andre Rison coming down and across the field, basically running away from the coverage. And it's about time they got back. Watch him come underneath, shove really Vinnie Clark off. That's man-to-man coverage, and he's away from him. A lot of times those good wide receivers use that little shove. Supposedly illegal, but never called. And they had to find him again. You know, he's kind of disappeared around here since the 1st quarter. And he's the guy that they have to go to if they're going to make the big plays.
5 catches for 51 yards. He's the man who guaranteed the Falcons win. Miller to Pritchard. 1st down inside the 20. Stopped by Chuck Cecil. And Cecil has been waiting for a big hit all year long. He got it that time, but the pass was completed.
That time we see him come right down the field. That's Drew Hill come across, and then Pritchard right down the seam. The ball's a little late. Safety man gets there in time to hit him, but not stop to catch. Watch the stick, boom, right in his ribs. He's gonna remember that one Monday and Tuesday. But you notice he held on to the football. He's also in pain on the sideline. But he held the football, puts him in a place to go ahead by 10 points or 14 points.
5 catches for 44 yards for Pritchard. Jason Phillips in to replace him. 1st and 10 from the 16, and Chris Miller is sacked. 2nd sack of the afternoon for Green Bay. This one goes to Robert Brown, his 1st of the year.
You know, I've been impressed with the way Green Bay has played pass defense. They have not done a great job on those short throws, but they have not really allowed much down the field. That seam to Pritchard on the last play was really the first vertical penetrating pass of the day. And, you know, I think you got to give them credit. The being patient is, you know, you can't be patient all the way down in here to the goal line. They're going to have to step up and play some man and try to make some plays here, though.
trips formation to the right. 2nd and 13. Miller, a quick out to Jones. And Jones, much too light a receiver to do anything once somebody's grabbed him. He weighs about, what, 145 pounds?
If he weighs that, and Tony Bennett did a nice job. He recognized the screen, got right out there, and made the play. Jones is hurt a little bit. It looks like a knee. Whenever they grab just below that knee, you know that's a serious injury. Tony Bennett does a really nice job of coming outside. Now he grabs him, pulls him down, and that's when those legs get caught into each other. That's when the injury comes. You can almost tell it in the way he grabs it. You know he's hurt.
Boy, that was definitely a gruesome-looking shot at the way that left leg was being bent back. And
Pritchard is usually the guy. Excuse me, James. Pritchard is usually the guy that makes they throw the screens to. He's up.
And again, at only 145 pounds, a lot lighter than normal. CBS Sports exclusive coverage of the baseball postseason begins Tuesday night at 8:30 p.m. right here in Atlanta. National League MVP candidate Barry Bonds leads his Pirates into the chop race to face another National League MVP candidate, Terry Pendleton. Doug Drabek faces hard-throwing John Smoltz. It's a repeat of last year's thrilling 7-game series, and that'll all be taking place right here on CBS. And the town is really starting to get into the mood. John, you and I were talking about a few parking lots where we saw the gate actually had the tomahawk on it.
Yeah, this town is it's got its fair share of activity these days, and boy, are they excited.
So it'll be a 3rd and 15 for Atlanta as Tony Jones heads to the sidelines. Ball marked at the 21 of Green Bay. 6:23 and counting left in the contest. Falcons on top by 7. Miller out of the shotguns. Jones the only back. Miller looking for Rison. Touchdown, Atlanta. He beat Terrell Buckley. A 21-yard pass play.
Here we see Rison with Buckley up against him. Rison's just going to win this battle. This is the great veteran against the promising rookie. I think Buckley is looking for some help from Cecil, but he doesn't get it. Rison has the play again. Man, I think they got to throw the football to that guy about 30 times a game the way he's playing.
Norm Johnson on for the point after, and it's good. Well, Andre Rison, the man who guaranteed a Falcons victory, what a better way to try to make that happen than to haul in that pass from Chris Miller beating the rookie Terrell Buckley.
Here we're going to see Rison come off the football. Buckley doesn't get any kind of a hit on him at all, and he's free, pushing into the secondary, and he just leaves Buckley in his wake. Now you see there's no hit there, and he's unimpeded. He's just too quick. Buckley's too far behind, and he's never going to catch up. Cecil, I think, had to do a better job of supporting him there also. Miller knows, hey, that's when you throw to Rison, you know you're going to get something good out.
Rison and Sanders and Haynes, and we talked a lot about this receiving core in Atlanta being perhaps the deepest and fleetest core in the NFL.
And Michael Haynes really hasn't got back into the swing of things yet, and when he does, it is as dangerous a group. Both Michael Haynes and Drew Hill will have better second halves of the season than they've had first halves, so this will be a dangerous group.
Brooks awaiting the Norm Johnson kickoff. And Johnson puts this one back in the end zone, out of the end zone, touchback. It'll be 1st and 10 at the 20. Still a busy day in New York. Back to Greg.
All right, James, here come the Vikings. The Bears continuing to have problems in the second halves of games. Rich Gannon to Chris Carter, 16 yards. And with 7:20 to play at the Metrodome, the Bears lead is down to 6, 20-14. JB?
And I just mentioned during that last update by Greg Gumbel that sometimes the defense can get the offense moving, and that apparently is the case with Minnesota now starting to come back. Chris Carter needed only one reception to become the 8th player with 100 consecutive games with the reception. He's there.
Well, we're going to have to see Green Bay put together the same kind of 2-minute type drive that they did earlier in the at the end of this first half to try to get back in this game. Look out.
Tim Green all over top of Favre, who somehow escapes and dumps it off to Sidney. And Sidney.
This kid must have been an X-option quarterback. I swear that ball was lateral forward. I think he surprised the official so much he didn't know what to call. This kid's got a little stuff in him, doesn't he? He's got some Bobby Lane in him or some Terry Bradshaw, or maybe a combination of both. But he has been a delight to watch.
Now, you talk about poise under pressure.
Yeah, he was sacked just as soon as the play. Green came off of his man right away and was right on him again. He just kind of stepped around him. I think he thinks this game is easy.
A gain of 5 on a play makes it 2nd and 5 from the 25. Complete to Sharp, and Sharp takes it up to the 31. And that's enough for the first down. Still to come, doubleheader action here on CBS. Some of you will see the Rams at San Francisco, the Giants at the Raiders, Washington at Phoenix. 5-16 and counting. Incomplete.
We're going to see them try to execute the same things that they did at the end of the first half. Try to get the football down, score with maybe 2 minutes, 2+ minutes to go. Try to stop Atlanta, use their timeouts, and then get one last shot with the ball with maybe a minute to go. But the key here is to move the football, not waste time, but not panic by throwing the football too far down the field. They were successful with the short pass. They'll do it again. They'll try to get down and score. It's 5:15 left in the game. They'll try to score before the 2-minute warning.
Green Bay with 2 timeouts remaining. Atlanta with 3. 2nd and 10. Favre back to pass. To Workman, a flag on a play, and Workman, we'll see where they spot it, about a half a yard shy of the first down marker, but there is a flag on the play, and that will go against Green Bay.
You know, it's surprising you get a holding penalty on a screen pass. I'm sure that's what Mike is saying. How can you hold on a screen pass? You're trying to let the guys run through.
57 offense, 10 yards, repeat 2nd down.
And that's Rich Moran.
Well, that's we're going to get a look at Rich Moran now. He just kind of throws Green to the ground. And now, as the play, he's mad because Green's gone by him a couple times. You see him set. Now he just grabs him and throws him down. A technical call again. I guess as an old coach, you kind of hate to see those kind of things happen, but I guess that's okay call, but that wasn't a big hole.
Sidney and Workman the backs. Favre back to pass. Drills it complete to Sterling Sharp. Now that's where that rifle arm comes into play. Boy, did he thread that.
Absolutely. That was simply a great pass. But look, he's right up. He's well within his own comfort zone. He's up on the ball. 3rd down. I think it's coming up 3rd down. They're not going to punt on 4th down, I wouldn't think. They got 2 downs to try to make this 1st down. They're 3rd and short.
9 catches for 107 yards in the afternoon for Sharp. And there's the first down pass to Vince Workman. And the clock continues to wind down. 4:06 left in the game. Falcons on top by 14.
They got timeout to move the chains. Gordon McCarter is I guess he's going to measure. Oh, there's an injury. Gann is down. It looks like he's got cramps. Whenever you reach down and try to pull your toe back to you, that means you got a cramp in the thigh or the calf.
Coach, I can only laugh because I know you've seen over your years so much of this you can really categorize it in just about all.
Absolutely. You can see the kind of body language, or when you get out there and see the player, you know how much pain he is, you know the injury, and sometimes it's horrible news, but that's not horrible news there. He's got a cramp in his calf. Mike is trying to con the official into saying, I got a call coming up here that you're going to have to make one go my way.
be coming your way here on CBS. The Athletics and the Blue Jays. That'll be game one, prime time right here on CBS. And boy, the ageless wonder, Dave Winfield, age 40, still hitting strong. The first 40-year-old to hit 100 RBIs, and he'll be in action this Wednesday night on CBS.
His 41st birthday yesterday, and don't you get the feeling he represents all of us old guys?
You know I feel good about him.
That's right. We're going to form a fan club. It's an old guys fan club.
Matter of fact, 100 years ago when I was drafted by the Atlanta Hawks, he was also drafted in that 4th round. I called Winfield to find out if he was going to come here or play baseball. He says, I can play a lot longer, have a much more successful career in baseball. Boy, was he right. Brett Favre, 29 of 38, 253 yards, 1 touchdown, and 1 INT. 1st and 10 from the 44. Pump fakes going up top, looking for Sharp. And Sharp tried to shift 2 gears that time, but just overthrown. Sharp had beaten Tim McKyer.
They took a shot at it. It's a double move. You're going to take a look at Sharp. Starts to the outside. Watch McKyer look inside at the quarterback, and it's over. It's over as soon as you look inside. Sharp's got too much speed and goes by him. He knows he's got a long. Oh no, you know. But you know, I don't think it bothers him too much. I think now he's forgotten all about it. He's ready to make the next one work.
Now, was there a flag on that play? And indeed there was.
Well, they get the down back, which is what is the best thing for them. They had an illegal motion, it sounded like, so there was no place, but they get the first down back, and that's what they really need. They also need to get Sterling Sharp a little bit of a rest, but they also got to get him back in the game fast.
1st and 15. Complete to Sidney. And Sidney gets it up near midfield, about 4 yards away from the first down marker.
The time is a problem right now, but they need to move the football. They're fighting both getting down and scoring, and I think if they can just get a score before the 2 minute, they've got at least a remote shot to get back in this football game. They use their timeouts. They were looking for Harris down the middle, the same as they did just before the halftime. That time it was Ed West. I bet they wish they had Harris, and here comes Harris this time, and Sterling Sharp. There's that hole in the middle when you're playing the 2 deep safety defense, but the ball was just a little too far and off his fingertips. Ed is the blocker of this team. Harris is the pass-catching tight end. They got Harris right back in the game. They've also got Sharp back in the game now. 3rd down and 5, and it's like 2nd down in a normal situation because they'll go for it on 4th.
Okay, we'll call it 3rd and 4. 3:10 left in the game. Ball at midfield. And complete to Harris. There's the guy you were talking about, and it's a first down for Green Bay.
I just marvel at this young man playing quarterback. He got a blitz off the corner. The right hot reaction was the tight end. He went to him immediately. Again, swing to the back, right?
To Workman. And Workman gets out of bounds.
Again, the blitz game, and you saw the same thing that time, James. The blitz game, and his instincts are so right. Throws the ball and throws it accurately to Workman. Workman managed to get the clock out of get the ball out of bounds, so the clock stopped. Now there's some problems. Now they've got to get this football this last 40 yards. They can't get a field goal. They got to put it in the end zone. So now they've got to begin to think of throwing it down the field a little further. If they can just get in before the 2-minute warning, they still, I'm sure, believe they have a shot. Use their timeouts on Atlanta's first 3 plays, force a punt, then take a shot with about 40 seconds to go.
Terry Ray and Bruce Pickens in for 6 defensive backs for the Falcons. Favre going to the backside, throws it complete to Sanjay Beach. Fumble,
the ball's loose,
and it looks like the Falcons recover it. They do. That is the 4th fumble recovery of the season for the Atlanta Falcons, and give the credit to Terry Ray.
They get the ball to him inside, but now watch the swarming tackling coming. One guy, two guys, three, four, then they knock the ball out, and that's what they're after. That's what swarming defense, Jerry Glanville's defense, is so good at that. Here again, you see Beach has got the football. He takes one hit. It starts to come out right away, but there's the swarm that comes. That's what I guess they call the black wave, and it was waving over him, and it ended any chance that Green Bay had to win. That young man has a great future in this league. Nothing bothers him, but he knows he's going to go down, and he's upset about it. But boy, did he ever play a game.
No question about that. Jones ahead for a couple, and there's a flag on the play.
Green Bay's going to have to use their 3 timeouts now, holding. That's the kind of thing that drives coaches crazy. You got to win if you just don't make any penalties, and bang, you get one right now.
You can see the timeouts remaining. Green Bay with 2 and Atlanta with 3.
Holding, 64 offense. Penalty decline, 2nd down.
This game is presented by the authority of the National Football League, and this telecast is intended for the private use of our audience. Any rebroadcast or other use of this telecast without the express written consent of CBS, the Atlanta Falcons, and the National Football League is prohibited. On 2nd and 10. And a good run by Jones, and Jones has the first down.
Well, that just kind of puts the final nail in the coffin, the Green Bay coffin. But I'm sure Mike Holmgren's going to get back on that airplane and feel pretty good about his football team. They were almost blown out early, but came back.
As we head toward the 2-minute mark, Green Bay actually calls timeout, leaving it with 1. Today's game was produced by Bob Monsbach and directed by Larry Cavallina. The NFL Today was produced by Eric Mann and directed by Duke Struck. And the senior producer of the NFL on CBS is Ed Gorin. Steve Kleinfeld and Gary Lynn, stats and spotter. Rosemarie Chamelin, our stage manager. And still to come, doubleheader Sunday right here on CBS. The second game of our doubleheader, some of you will see the Rams face their arch rivals, San Francisco. Others will see the Giants at the Raiders, while Washington travels to, boy, talk about a snake-bitten Phoenix Cardinals team.
I think Washington is going to start that long improvement that they have from about October through January a lot of times, and it's a difficult time for Phoenix. And it's, it seems like when things are at the worst, you wind up with somebody like the Redskins. Huge game for the Raiders. If they don't come up with a win here, that's 0-5, and boy, is that down in the depths.
You talk about the Washington Redskins. It's amazing how the fans in Washington, spoiled, really have been on the team. They've played 3 playoff squads and have a record of 2-1. On 1st and 10, Jones to the left for about 2. And that will take us to the 2-minute mark of the ball game. Falcons on top by 14.
You see the Atlanta schedule there. It's a tough time to lose Deion Sanders with Dan Marino and Steve Young coming up on the schedule, both on the road. Very crucial games for Atlanta to get them back to even. Jerry Glanville told us earlier in the week that if he could get his teams to a 3-win position by the bye, that he could definitely beat that bye, whoever that guy is. And that's where he wants to be. And I think he's going to have his work cut out for him. And I think the loss of Sanders comes at a very inopportune time for them.
And again, as the fans in Atlanta know, Deion Sanders goes over to play baseball with the Braves throughout the postseason. As Jones continues to plow ahead. Well, Jerry Glanville said, yes, he would like to have 3 wins by the bye period. But I tell you, this squad has some long historical odds to overcome. In the past 6 seasons, 62 clubs finished the first 4 games with under 500 records. Only 4 of those teams moved on to postseason play.
Well, I think, Atlanta stays, stares down those odds pretty good. If they can get hot with this offense, they can be very, very dangerous down the stretch.
And what about for Green Bay as you take a look at their schedule upcoming?
Well, they got a easier week next week. That old bye shows up on their schedule, and they'll look forward to that. And they've got to be proud of what they've accomplished so far this season. This is a club that's going to play good football now, and they sure have found a quarterback, and a quarterback that understands Mike Holmgren's system and executes it very well. Mike Holmgren has not had a quarterback play any better than this kid played for him in the last few years. That kid that we're going to hear from for a lot of years, and there's just something about him that's charismatic. But this is a football team that's going to be in just about every game this year.
And I'll tell you what, Brett Favre will definitely deliver that Southern dictionary to Mike Holmgren. He talked about Mike Holmgren better learn a few Southern expressions. As a matter of fact, it's true that Bonita Favre, Brett's mother, brought the dictionary to the game here in Atlanta and gave it to Holmgren and said, you better learn. This book is from us Southerners to teach you Northerners, N-A-W-T-H-O-R-N-E-R-S, how to speak.
He keeps playing like that. He's going to have all of Green Bay talking Southern.
And Jones, shy of the first down marker, will bring up a 4-and-1 situation. Bill Fralick showing a little bit of spunk late in the game here.
Well, that's just the frustration. I'm sure both these teams walk off with some respect for each other. And how about Andre Rison? This is the second week in a row when he has been such a dominant player. We saw two of the very best wide receivers in football here today. Rison for Atlanta, Sharp for Green Bay. You know, we all get so used to talking about Jerry Rice, and well, we should, because he's great. But here are two men that are also very great.
Sterling Sharp with over 100 yards receiving, his 14th such game. Andre Rison adding 2 touchdowns to his total. He's got 5 on the season. And the first down for Atlanta. And let me also correct something that I said earlier about Norm Johnson when he kicked that 49-yard field goal. Actually, his longest was 54 yards, and that came in the first game of the season against the Jets. So 54 yards, the long of the season for Norm Johnson.
Think what would have happened if that double cut to Sharp just a few minutes ago would have been completed for a touchdown. We'd be down here fighting for the last gasp of Green Bay, and that's the only thing that didn't go right for Favre today, was that one long pass.
And this should be the last play of the game. And the Atlanta Falcons saw a very impressive Brett Favre today, but Chris Miller and company came through as the Falcons break a 3-game losing skid, the longest since 1990.